Well, good evening, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola here, and another one of our shows here with the Coffee Club. And you know what? I didn't realize I had some text on this one. I'm going to put it up there. And that guy right there with the other coffee club happens to be Marco Lopez, who recently won the Osceola County Sheriff race, Democrat, in the primary election just a few days ago. How you doing?
Good. How about you? What are you drinking today?
This is actually I think it's chock full of nuts. Kind of like we were talking about, the northern areas we may have hailed from, and there's some
I
different
think
coffee.
this is like a little things that you put in the what do you call it? A little coffee squisher.
So K cups.
Yeah, she just got one, and there's like 1,000 different flavors, but it's good. It's tasty.
Well, so I am so glad you're here tonight. I did do my homework here. I actually have something we should. So we'll talk for a few minutes and get some people on and just let them know we're talking. And I know we won't talk super long. I would love to invite you to come back when it's not just a few days after an election, and we can chat further if that works for you. Cool. So I'm going to make it official. I have this little opener thing I didn't tell you about, but let's enjoy our coffee. I'm going to press this little button, and we'll after that we'll come back and we'll talk some more. Here you go.
All right.
So I think I do that because I absolutely love jazz, and it has a feeling of jazz, so I play that thing. It's a thing.
Very nice.
So anyway, hey, again, thank you for coming on tonight. Super honored, and so you did a big deal. You had you pulled off a great win in the primary election as a Democrat for Osceola County Sheriff. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I talked to a bunch of candidates for just different offices and over the last few months, and man, what a challenge with COVID-19, trying to get out to the people, trying to get them to know who you are, or in any candidate's position, for people to be able to understand who they are, so they can say, hey, look, vote for me when it comes that day. So how did you to get to the folks out there in this crazy time? Because every time you turn around when things are getting simpler, they get complex again. So how did you do that to meet the people and share your message?
What we lacked in money, we lacked in endurance, where we must have hit at least 15,000 doors passing out literature. And we would just, in the COVID, we just would leave it. I told my people, we're going to turn into postal clerks, mailmen. Just drop it and go. And if someone was out, say, hey, we keep our social distance, say something. But for the most part, we had to save. We had to do something to compensate for the money that we didn't have for our mailers. And the team was really the one that put, had this drive, and they really helped complete this mission, because I couldn't have done it without them.
When you and I spoke yesterday, I think you said it accurately, which is this is a big county. And I think people sometimes they forget, depending on what part of the county you live in, I think you forget that the real estate is a big deal here. It's a lot of space. You're talking between, obviously Celebration to Holapaw, and then BVL and over Points. You're looking at a big county. I mean, we cover a lot of sports for the school district, and if anybody knows how big that is to drive, we do. But obviously, so how did you get past the gigantic, scenario there of the county?
Just spreading your people out, man. Spreading out that manpower and sending them to different locations, and strategically trying to conquer as much as we could in the short amount of time that we had. I had people in shifts. There was always someone out there doing something, passing out literature, or it was a lot of work, but.
Oh, lost you. This is the internet, not perfect.
Sorry.
I hear you. I just don't see you.
My video cam should be on. Is it back on?
Okay. Nah, not yet, but we'll get it. It's all good.
I don't know. It's not coming on now.
This is probably because it's August in Osceola County, and we might be getting a little bit of storm here and there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bounce you out real quick.
Okay.
And then bounce back in. It's all good. Again, this is live on the interweb. So since it's a coffee club scenario, gonna have some coffee. We'll see if we get this back together here. Not quite yet. So Marco, go ahead and hit that leave studio and then pop back in. How's that?
Okay, let me do that.
You got it. So we'll be back in a second. It's all good. We're super honored to have Marco Lopez, who just won the Democrat primary for Osceola County Sheriff the other day. And so we're just glad he could take a few minutes with us. Won't be a real long show tonight. Just, I know he's got some neighbors that want to say thank you to him. And and there he is. Hey, I see. Let's see, there he is. Let me give him a break here. There you go.
In there now?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Looks, you know what? The cool thing is it looks even better than it did before.
Right.
All right. So where were we? We're talking about the size of the county, I think, maybe possibly.
Yeah, it is a logistical task getting all over this county and trying to spread yourself out. You just can't cover the whole county. There's just no way.
It's hard.
You just got to try to cover as much as you can and try to make as many contacts as you can and go from there and hopefully that you get the people that you do make a positive impact on spread the word and get their friends to spread the word. So
which I think you did very well. We were talking about Jackie Espinoza just a few minutes ago, and I was downtown on the election day, and I saw your a truck went by with Marco Lopez on it, and I said, "Man, that is old school. I loved it. That was great, man.
I know.
It was good.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. So I don't want to just talk of the campaign that's behind us. Why don't you tell me about? We didn't have a lot of time to talk before this, which is cool. Tell me, so with all due respect to Tony Fernandez, who of course will be your opponent in November. Tell me what, so let's say, you get past that. Let's just, and if I speak to him, I'll say a similar thing to him with all due respect. So let's say you get elected, be the next Osceola County Sheriff, 100%, and it's your job, and so this large county, and there's got to be a transition, obviously, from the last, from what's been happening in the last 4 years into what you're going to do under you. So tell me, how do you bring everybody to one accord and move forward for the county? How do you do that?
Well, you really have to sit down with the sheriff's going to have to help coordinate this because
Oops, there you go. I got you.
Now we're on again. Okay.
We're good.
There. He's going to have to help coordinate the smooth transition. It's an election. It happened. We can't let our personal feelings get the best of us. It's all for the best interest of the community. There's Democrat.
Internet. Again, we're dealing with a little bit of weather out there tonight, folks, so be patient. And I appreciate Mr. Lopez's patience tonight. So I'm bring it back in real quick. Yeah. He doesn't live too far from where I live, which is on the eastern portions of Osceola County, and we're having some weather, so that's what we're dealing tonight. So be patient with us. He'll pop back in. And until he does, so I'll talk a little bit further. And if we can't get the internet to cooperate with us tonight, he's audio wise back in. Let's see if we pull him all the way back in. But if this is a long-standing issue tonight, we will certainly invite him back in, and maybe over the weekend, and we'll have a chance to really speak some more. But I think he's probably going to pull back in. Let's see. And until he does, we'll hang out. Got a few people watching. Hope you're having coffee with me tonight. Let's see, what's it say? Great ideas start with great coffee. Well, no argument with me. I think he will pop back in just a second, and you won't have to hear me. There he is.
There we go.
See, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah, sorry. It must be the weather because today out here in Harmony, I've been experiencing issues with the satellite signal or the internet.
You're fine. You're fine.
But first of all, yeah, we definitely got to bring everyone together because it's all about the community. It's not about it's not about egos and self-esteem. It's about getting out here, making sure there's a smooth transition. We got to sit down and talk with everybody at the sheriff's office, let them know they're valuable. There's a lot of money invested in training in these officers. We can't just start firing everybody, and it just doesn't work like that. It's not cost effective for the taxpayer. So we're going to sit down. My main focus right now is November. Once we come out of November, then we're going to sit down and hopefully we'll be able to have this conversation with the sheriff and with the people that we feel are going to be the top few to help select a good administrative team at the sheriff's department.
Right, and you said it earlier before we were even live. I said something similar to what we just asked you. You said, it's a team scenario, and of course it is. And so I think we think about the county, and I didn't mean to minimalize the whole scenario. The county's large, but
yes,
it's going to be continually growing.
Yeah.
So how do you keep, in this crazy world we live in with the COVID-19 scenario, how do you get your people out there to let them know, to meet the influx of people that are going to be moving in town? How do you, and I guess I should put it like this maybe. So, do you look forward to working well with say St. Cloud PD's Chief Gauntlet and Jeff Odell, great guys,
yes,
great leaders. So is that part of how you strategically work together?
Yes. It's very important to work with everyone. Our firefighters, our local hospitals, our school board. There's so many different, the Office of Elections, the driver's license office. It's very important with our court, clerk of the courts. It's very important to develop a relationship with all these people that have been elected to run these administrations and are running them currently, because pretty much that's what we're here for. You're elected by the community to do a job, and we all need to really come together and work effectively to accomplish the mission.
During the campaign, I heard not all that often, but a few times I would hear people say, "Gosh, why do we politicize such an important position as the sheriff?" I don't know how you could do it any other way but have it be an elected scenario.
Yeah.
I think that's the least politicizing if you have the people. And I guess that's, so I think it was 24% in the primary, 24%, a little under 24% of the people participated. And some people would say, gosh, that's not a lot. But I would look at it differently. I'd say there's 24% of the people who are registered that want to be involved with their leadership, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good thing. I think there's an opportunity for leaders to say, okay, so we have this many people that really want to be actively, speaking to what we're doing. How did that hit you as far as when you're out there and meeting the community, meeting the people, engaging in that? That had to be something completely different than the rest of what you've done in your life before.
Well, being in the military for a long time, I was self-employed. I had a contract with the airport years ago. I think I lost you now, right?
No, I'm with you.
Okay. And, you come across of all different walks of life, and you get to know the needs of the people. Working in law enforcement also on a daily basis, you're coming across, we're problem solvers. We don't only serve and protect, but we're there to, your cat's in the tree. Who do you call? The fireman or 911? We're here to solve your problems, and it's something that it's a customer service oriented type of place to work. Because if you can't be customer friendly or serve with compassion and really be there to help and serve people, you're probably in the wrong line of business. So, just being a people person is really important. Not just running, but even as deputies, some of them become robotic but we really have to see if we can desensitize them a little bit and so they can really start having a little bit more compassion for the community. And I think that's going to be a little friendlier approach to the citizens.
So, what I'd love to hear, I want to make sure I know you only have so much time tonight, and I would love for you to come back maybe next week and we have a longer conversation. I understand why people trust you. I can understand why, and that's what I've heard so much. And why don't you tell us, I guess the question would be, so how do you end up? So let's say you end up elected as sheriff. All right. And I know you have to still get to that point in November.
Yes.
So how do you from that day, how do you communicate with the county and say, okay, we're all in this together. How do you move forward? And those people who may not know you tonight, I guess this is almost two questions. Those folks that may not know you tonight. I mean, you did a great job in the campaign. If they don't know you, how do you explain to them that you're the choice for Osceola County Sheriff moving forward toward November?
You got to, people have to remember one thing. I think this last administration, and I mean, I'm not trying to bash or badmouth anybody, but
Sure, of course.
I think they got away from the protect and serve part. They got too involved into the, and it's like, how can you say, we're here to police. We're here to
Right.
protect and serve. We should be out there in the public with our law enforcement officers, walking the plazas, getting out of our patrol cars, making community contacts. And when you get away from that a little bit and you keep like making how you say, like you're just putting out festivals, like 1,000 festivals a year, it becomes almost like a gratuity type thing. It's expected. So people don't really put a lot of enjoyment into it, or it's like a give me. You can't have that concept when you're out there putting out all these festivals and all these events. You put some good events together, but you got to educate. You got to let them know why we're here, how our department functions, get to know your people, get to know your community, but you could do that while you're working. I think it's a little bit more beneficial because, how else will you can get your point across if you're working 12 hours a day and you walk the plaza and you step into store owners' stores and talk to them and get to know them. You're going to know your beat or your area. And I think people are going to develop a trust with that deputy, and they're going to develop a relationship with that deputy. And that's going to be a direct reflection of the sheriff.
I'm gonna say I would assume that that's never been more important than now. So that relationship between the people in the community and the law enforcement agencies, certainly, we're seeing a time that we probably would have never have expected, and so much in 1 year. It's a lot all at the same time. So I think what you're saying is spot on. People are I think we want to have that relationship as a community with our law enforcement.
Yes.
And I like what you're saying. So when you look forward, how are you going to make that connection happen? Where people say, okay, I trust my sheriff's office now. That's not happening right now nationally.
Yeah, well, one of the things we're going to do is sometimes it's a little bit, it's a leadership. You have to get your officers to engage. We have like what they call like a field contact card. When you come up with anybody in a suspicious area, or at the wrong hours of the night, you see someone, you take his information and just put him in the system in case they're potentially committing criminal activity. Why don't we do like a positive community contact card? I see you there, Mr. Ronan, cutting your grass, and I drive up and I step out of my car and you're like, what's going on? And hey, how you doing? What's going on in your neighborhood? We open up a contact card. Hey, I spoke. If you want to be anonymous, you're anonymous. We call it out on the radio. And when I just said, hey, what do you see here? What's going on? What are your concerns? You'll see at 3 a.m, I got some guys that park at the dead end. I don't know if they're doing dope. I don't know what they're doing. So you know what? Thank you, sir. We write it up. We put it in the system and we send it to the right unit. We'll do some more active patrols. And eventually we're going to make contact with that suspicious activity that you're concerned with. And then once we do, and if it's just juveniles just parked having fun using somebody's Wi-Fi, we'll let you know. We'll turn them over to the parents. Or if it's people in criminal activity, we'll also let you know what was the outcome and how we took care of that incident. We're going to open up the ticket for you and we're going to close it out for you. And I think it's going to be a more positive impact. And I think people would be pretty surprised if an officer just steps out of his car while you're cutting the grass or sees you outside. Now, I don't want cops knocking on doors and bothering people. I want them to engage while they're out there, in their comfort zone. And I want them to see us in their neighborhoods trying to deter crime.
Do you see us getting past the point where we have this separation between law enforcement and the people of the community? And do you see that happening in the next, hopefully in the next year? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, well, we've been going toward that us versus them mentality for years, and that's part of that police reform. It's we cannot defund the police. I've worked at the department, and for the amount of years that I worked there, we've always been underfunded. We've always been understaffed. We need the money. I think that we need to put our money and other resources to help get that relationship, how we can better the relationship with the community, or even putting some of it into the mental health aspect of our deputies and our dispatchers, just to help them. You know, like I've said it before, an officer is going to 12, 13 calls a day. It's a negative contact. He does that 30 days a month, 12 months out of the year. You know, who's there for him? Who's there to bring him off that stress level or bring him down? There's a lot of things we can do to help our officers to provide you a better customer service. And I do think if we start implementing the right programs and the right community outreach and go back to that protect and serve, I think that we can start getting people to start trusting us, especially with those body cams. Everybody has body cams. You know, there's a lot of things we can do. We just got to get in there and start putting some of these programs in place.
Well, it is a large job, as we spoke before we went live. It is a huge job, and I share with you, my dad was an officer upstate New York for 23 years, and so I kind of lived that side of it. Different scenario these days, much more complex, I think, than, you know, nothing, not to look down upon those older times, old school things, but this is no question more of a complex age we're living in. So I just wanted to say thank you again. We're honored to have you here tonight. I know you've got a lot of work ahead of you, and again, you have another round of the campaigns to go.
Oh, yeah. We got another round to go, but you know, we're ready. We've been getting past the media blitz and all the press, and it's good. It's good coming, and now we're going to start making contact with other people in the community to let them know. For the people who helped come out of this primary, I thank you very much. And for the people who didn't vote for me, you know, I hope to gain your vote and your trust, because we do have a good reform plan. It's going to benefit everyone in this community, because that's what we're about, keeping our community safe. I have kids here, little ones. We want to keep our schools safe. Sure. And there's a lot of good things that are going to come. And when you have a personal interest and a vested interest in the community, you know, it's going to be something where you're going to put 125% into it.
Well said. And I know this is not too many days away from the actual election, so it's still got to be a little bit of a blur. So I do appreciate your time to get, and I know that you have to you have another responsibility tonight. So I want to say thank you and appreciate you very much, and all our best from Positively Osceola to you. All our best to you, and again, thank you and good luck on the next round of the campaign.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Coffee anytime.
You got it. We'll do that soon. All right. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with Marco Lopez, who just recently won the Osceola County Sheriff's, the campaign, the Democrat side of that, in the primary election. On Tuesday, he will face Tony Fernandez on November 3rd. So stay tuned for that. We'll try to get him back in here as soon as we can. And he had to go tonight. We appreciate very much that he would be a part of tonight. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola for our coffee club. Together with Osceola County, we are making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Have a good night.